Hey guys, it is Sue Fearless, and I am here today to talk about a book collaboration that I had that's called The WorkPreneur in Her. And basically, this collaboration is composed of stories of multi-passionate women who are building their brands. This was such a great collaboration, and thank you to Isabel Rojas for bringing me onto this project. Really excited to share my journey. This is kind of like a Q&A, and it basically talks a little bit about my background, and also I share some advice and tips and resources that you can use to help yourself use your 9 to 5 to leverage your business. Okay, so this is the WorkPreneur in Her. All right, so the first question is, what do you currently do? My career got started in accounting and finance. Initially, I obtained an associate degree in business administration, and then I switched to accounting for my bachelor's degree. And actually, I'll share a quick story behind that. When I was going to college for my bachelor's degree, I was a young mom with 2 children. After class one day, I was talking to my Accounting 101 professor regarding my progress as he was mentoring me. During our conversation, he asked me, "Well, why are you going to school for your bachelor's in business? Business is broad. If anyone wants to start a business, there are tools and resources that you can get outside of college to start your business. You should consider switching your major to accounting finance. It is a more focused major, and you are already doing so well in my class." End quote. As we continued our conversation, he also mentioned I would be very successful in that career path and that there will always be job opportunities for me. Long story short, I transferred to accounting finance and I obtained my bachelor's. Soon after, I also obtained my master's, and my professor was completely right. As soon as I graduated, I had a job, and I have been able to sustain myself and my family in this industry from then to present time. I love to share this story because as a single mom, it truly allowed me to have a stable career and keep food on the table for my kids and a roof over our heads. Also, I have since then had great opportunities in the finance industry, and that is how my career started. Now, I'm about 14 to 15 years in the industry, so you can say I'm kind of a veteran. I climbed the ladder in my career, which has been super amazing, and I'm very grateful for that. I graduated in 2011, and fast forward to 4 years later, when in 2015, the entrepreneur bug bit me. In my career, I found myself not seeing more people that look like me, going through personal issues, and I was yearning to connect with other women who I could relate to and who provided a safe space. I started holding corporate, entertainment, and networking events and found women gravitating towards me and seeking the same space as I was. Therefore, I decided to start my own organization called Fearless Women. Within our organization, we help empower women by providing educational resources in different areas. Our main focus is on mindset, healing, coaching, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, of course, personal and professional development, and career coaching. When did the entrepreneur bug bite you? The entrepreneur bug bit me about 6 years ago. Aside from the reasons I mentioned above, my entrepreneurship journey also started because I was in a relationship that wasn't really good for me. And as a survivor now, I am a survivor now, but at that point, while I was in college, and I had 2 children, I felt overwhelmed, depressed, and I did not know who I had become and felt like I did not have a voice. I did not feel okay. I felt after many years that I needed to finally break free and find myself and my voice, as I felt like I was being trapped and I wasn't able to be my full authentic self and grow and expand. Being in college helped me spread my wings. I met many people, some really good friends who are still in my life till this day, who helped me through this process. Once I started opening up and figuring out what I enjoy doing, I started getting out there and curating events for corporations, organizations, and individuals. On this journey, I started to notice that I was attracting a lot of different folks, especially women, who would come up to me and ask me for advice on my career and entrepreneurship transition. They also shared their life experiences and the trauma they had been through with me. So it dawned on me, wow, something really special is happening. And that is the moment I discovered my purpose. I am truly lucky to have found my purpose. My purpose is to give back to community, help people heal, especially women who have been through abuse and trauma, and help them take back control over their lives and find their voice as I did. I am passionate about motivating, empowering, and encouraging others to continue to either climb the corporate ladder, start their own business, or be the creatives they desire to be. I come from a minority community. Therefore, giving back and helping break stigmas is extremely important to me. I'm really excited that the entrepreneurial bug bit me, and I'm excited about the journey that I've been on and everything that's to come. How did you get your idea or concept for the business, and where do you see yourself in 5 years? I've always been the type of person that likes to bring good energy and create a good environment. Naturally, I could be a bit of an introvert, but I also have extroverted tendencies in the sense that I enjoy a nice cocktail evening with my friends and a night out on the town. Hence, I've always been interested and passionate about bringing people together in a beautiful atmosphere. While I was in the corporate industry, I saw an opportunity to venture out into the event curating space and used the connections and contacts I had made in the industry. I started to reach out to different businesses I contacted and let them know of my event curating services. I started curating private events for clients, and business was picking up very rapidly. I started to make really good money off of this side business. Word of mouth was also spreading quickly, and a lot of my peers and women I was connecting with in New York City became intrigued with how I was transitioning into the entrepreneurship world. So many women began to approach me with questions and wanted to make a connection and receive advice. Some of the questions I was being asked were, how did I transition from my career to starting my own business? How was I able to juggle it all? And so much more. And that is why WorkPreneur is such a great project, because that's exactly what I've been for a very long time, a workpreneur. I soon realized that a large community of women was really longing for someone to help guide them in the entrepreneurship, career, and empowerment areas. And that is when I decided that I wanted to start my organization called Fearless Women and help the women throughout their journey. Upon embarking on this journey, I realized that not only is it important to figure out how to launch your business, how to climb the corporate ladder, and all of those great things, but it's also important to focus on your mindset pivot, to focus, feel confident, remove negative thoughts of self-doubt and all other barriers that can translate into imposter syndrome. It is also extremely important that you're working on healing yourself and your health and wellness, and working on your self-love before you even dive into new projects and take new risks. It is essential to feel good inside, be healed, and mentally prepare yourself for something new, something out of your comfort zone. And that is why I started offering all of the services needed to accomplish such. If you had one piece of advice to someone just starting out, what would it be? I definitely have more than one tip and advice for future aspiring entrepreneurs. The first piece of advice would be not to get discouraged when things get tough, because it will get tough. Entrepreneurship is not easy at all. It's like going into a job and you're being handed your responsibilities and are trained in areas that pertain to your position. In a job, you meet your deadlines and you go home and disconnect from work. Entrepreneurship is really intense work. It requires full commitment. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, especially when you're getting started. There is no going home and turning the switch off. There will be moments when you feel overwhelmed and feel some anxiety. Do not allow these feelings to take over. When you are feeling overwhelmed, full of anxiety, and lack of focus, make sure to take a day to relax, even if you have many things that need to get done. Don't stress about it. Relax and center your mind, which will help you feel better and get back into the swing of things with better clarity. But take out the time to relax and de-stress, because it can get really, really stressful. The second piece of advice would be to keep a journal. Keeping a journal is great for many reasons, some of which are writing down your journey, writing down a list of tasks and crossing them off as you complete them, writing down your goals, and writing down your affirmations. A journal is also great for keeping a list of steps you take to complete a project, incorporate your business, and much more. For example, if you start a business and you create an LLC, you should write down the steps so that you can go back to them, because you will create more than one business as an entrepreneur. I live by my journal and my notes. It helps keep me organized, accountable, and documents my journey. It also helps me to stay in control of what I am doing. It helps keep me centered and humble, most importantly. And the last piece of advice I would give is to make sure you do affirmations every single day. Step into your purpose. Feel confident in yourself and your abilities. Know that you can do this. Feel it. Often we get really overwhelmed and we want to speed up the process. Instead, take a pause and realize how far you've come. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, you got this. You're doing this. How do you balance your entrepreneur life with family, work, outside responsibilities, and self-care? How do I balance it all? Well, that's a great question. I'm actually still learning every day how to balance and keep balance. I think there's really no right answer. It looks different for everyone. Make a daily list of what's on your schedule for the day, for the week, and make sure to add in a moment for meditation, exercise, and love. As I mentioned earlier, I am a mom of two. It is a little easier now as my children are in their teenage years. My son is off to college, so they can take care of a lot on their own. It is still challenging because you want to make sure that they remain on the right path and they are not picking up bad habits and being around the things they should not be. Every stage of your child's life presents a different challenge. But back to how I maintain balance. I use my calendar and notes to keep a schedule for myself as an entrepreneur versus working in my career where I have a schedule already made for me. I also make sure that I have a routine. I get up at 6 a.m., exercise, meditate, etc. I've been working hard on my meditation practice to help keep my mind centered. I also make sure that I take days to disconnect completely and spend time with my children, and I am not neglecting them in my workpreneur journey. I have kept a connection to my career by taking on projects and clients on a consultant basis. Consulting allows for me to have stability while I am still building my business. As a consultant, I can focus on innovation, pivots, and current market changes. My schedule may look like this. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I work with my consultants. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I work on my business. And Saturdays and Sundays, I spend the most time with my children. It is important to keep a well-balanced schedule, but be prepared to make changes often to adjust. What's one leadership lesson you've learned in your career that you have carried onto your brand? There are a few lessons that I've learned. First of all, I have learned to delegate duties. I'm a type A person, which means I tend to do a lot of the work on my own because I know that I can do it and have a certain vision for how I want it done. But I've learned that it's okay to relinquish control, and it's okay to allow the members of your team to flourish and use their talents and contribute to the projects. It has been extremely important because it has alleviated the load of my shoulders right now and all of my responsibilities. Another lesson that I've learned is taking accountability. If there is an area that I know needs improvement, I try to make sure that I acknowledge it and work on it. For example, I've been having a tough time managing my time, and I've been rescheduling too many calls. Because of this, I had to sit with myself and figure out why I had been lacking connection and motivation on how I could work on changing that. If I notice I'm running late often, then I need to take accountability and figure out how to have better time management. Another lesson I've learned is to be completely honest with myself and show up true and genuine to who I am at all times. When attending events and networking, leading with authenticity will be the best way for folks to form a connection with you and want to know more and invest in your vision and purpose. There are instances where folks may say, fake it till you make it. And I believe you should definitely walk into a room owning your power, your worth, and with confidence in your business, as if you have already reached your goal. However, make sure you're not overextending the services that you can offer. You need to be able to deliver what you sell to your clients. The same goes when you are creating your resume. State what your experience is. If you lie in your resume, you may get caught in a situation where you will not be able to deliver what you offered. I've made the greatest connections because people have connected to my energy and to my vibe. Show up as your true, authentic self. What challenges have you had to overcome to keep the passion ignited? Wow. There are times when staying motivated, empowered, and focused are a challenge for me. I work daily on making sure my passion stays ignited in my purpose. Something that I've learned is that it's great to have mentors. Even the richest, most famous billionaires have mentors. I believe having mentorship is really important because they are there to hold you accountable, especially when you don't feel motivated. When even your self-motivation is not working for you and you're just feeling down, a little confused, a bit lost, your mentor is there to help you see things from a different perspective. They will help you dig deep and see that you have in you what you think you are lacking. Your mentors are there to guide you towards your purpose, share education and resources with you, and pour into you. I recently went through a period where I felt a mixture of highs and lows. I attributed it to everything that has been happening during the COVID pandemic. I fell into a slump, and I felt depressed and lacked motivation for life. I wanted to connect with my community, but felt so detached because I did not know how to help them. So I connected with my mentors, and they helped me see things from a different perspective. My mentors reminded me of the person that I am and why I am passionate about what I do. They reminded me of the great things that I'm capable of and all of the accomplishments that I have made so far. They also reminded me that I should not allow challenging times to completely consume me. And I listened, and my energy started to shift. I also incorporated self-care into my routine. Self-care is extremely important. I work with women who have been through domestic violence, abuse, battery, women who have lost the desire to live and purpose, and their careers and motivation. I share ideas for their self-care. They can learn to love themselves again and not allow their circumstances to define them, and to take back control over their lives. I am pouring into my community. What are your top 5 success habits? My top 5 success habits. Number 1, creating a schedule for myself. Number 2, having my notes and my goals written down. Goals change from time to time, and more gets added to your plate. That is why it is important to stay organized and schedule for your task. I write down tasks that I have to accomplish for the week, for the month, for the year, so that I can stay on track. Effective networking has really been a factor that has contributed to my success. Connecting with others, connecting with individuals, with organizations, with businesses, making sure that I maintain those relationships, making sure that I also pour into those relationships and not only use them for my benefit. Trying to barter my services, help others out, networking. I think having network connections is everything as an entrepreneur. After I stepped away from my accounting career, I was doing a lot of community outreach, and I learned so much from that. I learned how to communicate better. I learned how to engage better. I made so many great relationships. My number 3 habit would be discipline, which is one of the challenges that has been tough for me at times. But I know discipline, focus, and consistency are the keys to success. Having good time management is also a great habit to have. And lastly, but not least, I make sure that I surround myself with people like my mentors, like my friends and family who have a great positive outlook on life and can also teach me things that I don't know. I am a forever student, which makes me a great educator and leader. What were your greatest failures and what did they teach you? What have my greatest failures taught me? At a younger age, I learned that being too transparent with my former bosses was a failure. Being in the corporate world, I learned that transparency is not always on your side. If you are going through something in your life, you may think it is okay to talk to your boss and share that information and that it will be beneficial for you because you think that they will be able to understand what you're going through. But most times, that's actually not the case. They use what you are going through personally against you. Instead of being supportive, they feel you cannot fulfill your position responsibilities and will lack focus because of your personal issues. As a young woman, a single mom, with my detrimental relationship, there was a time when I was going through a lot. And I was going into the office stressed out, at times called out because I didn't even feel like getting out of bed. I thought that sharing what I was going through will help my boss understand why I had those patterns, but it was quite the opposite. Another challenge or failure earlier on for me was as a new business owner, thinking I could handle all of my business responsibilities on my own. I was doing everything on my own. For some of my first few events, I brought other people in to collaborate, but I really had no team, so I still found myself doing everything on my own. If I had a team and delegated responsibilities, the execution of my events would have been less stressful. If in anything you do, whether it's events, whether it's running a business, whether it's with your organization, with your team, having a well thought out plan and organization is definitely key if you want to execute successfully. What is your why? The most important question. What is my why? I love this question because it is deeply rooted. First of all, my children and my family are my why. I was once in a domestic situation where I felt like I did not have the will to live, the desire to keep going, and I felt things were not going too well. But because of my children, I knew I had to dig deep inside and pull out the strength and courage to get out of that situation and live. I knew my children and family counted on me, and if I did not get up and do something for myself, I would not be able to support my children or show my children what a happy and healthy life would look like. I wanted to be a good example for my children. My second why is philanthropy, community service, and advocacy. Since I was young, I've always wanted to give back, wanted to help others, and always wanted to bring good energy to everyone around me. I was always a friend with whom everyone wanted to share time, converse, and feel comfortable. The friend that is non-judgmental and that is there to offer advice, but most importantly, to listen. Listening is so important. Too often, we are more concerned with only expressing our viewpoints and our stories and our issues that we do not take the time to listen and make sure we are the ear for others as well. My passion is to listen to help others, to help my community, because I know that I can. An important why for me is also having the passion for living my life, taking control of it, and showing others how to do so. I want people to see that you can live a really happy, fulfilled life, and that starts by changing your mindset. In my past, I went through really dark moments until I decided one day, instead of drowning in these horrible feelings, let me try to look at life from a different perspective and start being grateful for what I do have, for the gifts that God had given me and that were waiting for me to bring out of myself. You can live a happy life because happiness comes from within you. When I was young, I was always into music, dancing, art, fashion, and everything creative that makes a person feel alive. This is why helping others create the life that they want is a major mission for me. Because I have changed my narrative, it has definitely changed my life. What self-investments did you have to make in your journey, and how have they been beneficial to your business? A self-investment that I made has been in myself. Let me start with that. I started investing in my health and wellness and my mental well-being. When I first started my business, I had yet had a chance to heal from my past trauma. And I still need healing. We all do, right? It's a journey. Therefore, when jumping into this new area called entrepreneurship, I was still going through my emotions, which translated into insecurities. I was still going through depression, so I knew that I had to invest in my mental well-being and my mental health. I started reading a lot of self-help books, started talking to people who worked on mindset and mindset shift, started restoring my faith in God, and started focusing more on spiritualism and centering my energy. I'm still working on my meditation, but I definitely try to tap into my inner self as much as I can. Another investment I made in myself was a financial one. When I started my business, I worked 9 to 5. I was not managing my money well, my credit was not the greatest, and I had no clue how to fund my business, live a financially healthy life, and make better financial decisions. I sought out knowledge, education, and resources, applying what I learned to my life. And I was able to shift my mindset when it came to my finances and use my 9 to 5 to fund my business. Workpreneur at its finest, right? I self-funded my organization for the most part. Now we're in a better place where we are working on grants, sponsorships, and our profit has increased tremendously. And lastly, I invested in a mentor to help keep me accountable and empower me to continue to move forward and generate successful results. What's next on your workpreneur journey? I have a lot of goals that I want to achieve with Fearless Women and with my personal brand. One of the goals I am focused on is continuing my work with women who have been through abuse and battery. I am working on an initiative to open up our first shelter for women who have been through abuse in which they can move in with us and we can help them in all different areas of their life. We will be providing housing and helping them with their health and wellness, their mindset, their careers, resume building, interview prep, job placement, personal professional development, career coaching, entrepreneurship, how to get food assistance and clothing allotments, and all of that stuff. We will be helping these women take back control over their lives, find their voice, and not allow their traumas to define who they are. Another important mission is to expand to other cities, states in this country, and eventually worldwide. It is our agenda for the next 5 to 7 years, a long-term goal. In the interim, we will continue to pour into our communities and help our communities in any way that we can. We partner with many organizations and many public officials so that we can help bring the resources we are lacking in our community. We have a really great entrepreneurship program that we are offering to the DOE, to our youth, and our aspiring womenpreneurs and the Department of Labor. We are holding our sessions in person and virtually. I am very excited for this journey I am on and for the way my life has evolved. And I am an author now. And I will continue to push myself out of my comfort zone, pivot, and push myself to reach my greatest potential. I want to continue public speaking, using my podcast platform, and sharing education and resources with others. I want to help you heal, build, and live your best life. There are no barriers when your purpose is connected to your passion and your heart. Change your narrative, build generational wealth, and break down those doors. Good luck, workpreneurs. You got this. Thank you, guys. Make sure you grab your book.